Hey everybody, it's Vicky with Dementia with Grace. I hope y'all are doing great today. This week we're going to talk about what remains. In just about every stage of dementia, something is lost. You know, in some of the stages, a good bit is lost. But in every stage, something remains, and something positive is there, something of the soul remains, something that we can build on and engage with and celebrate. And so that is what I want to focus on today. I will put a link up here somewhere about the stages, all of the stages. I have one video that covers all the stages, and then I have a series of 5 videos that cover each of the stages. I cover 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7. And that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm covering 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7. So that's how we're going to do this. There's a scale. This is called the Global Deterioration Scale. It's by Risberg, and you can print it off. I will leave a link down below. But if you go to my group on Facebook, the Dementia with Grace Caregiver Support Group, this is in the files, and this is the Global Deterioration Scale. And there's also a FAST scale. FAST, F-A-S-T. It is the Functional Assessment Staging Tool, and it is a separate test for functional losses. This is cognitive losses mainly. Okay, so we're going to talk about this one. Today we're going to talk about stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 is no cognitive decline, and stage 2 is very mild cognitive decline. Stage 1 is tricky because a lot of people say, why even have a stage 1? Because stage 1 is actually no cognitive decline. It is where normal aging sits. I mean, I have had, people, 100-year-old people who have absolute intact cognition, had no losses. They remember their recent past, they remember their very, very distant past, and they can plan for the future. I mean, there's no cognitive issues. And so it's not, cognitive loss is not a normal part of aging. It is definitely something that we can become overwhelmed with information the older we get. We've got lots more people to remember. We've got lots more family, lots of children, lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren by the time we reach those ages. We've got lots of things to remember, and sometimes we just get inundated with information and we forget things, just normal forgetfulness. And that's benign forgetfulness. That's all that is. Stage 2 is very mild cognitive decline, and that is normal forgetfulness associated with aging. That is a little bit of like, where did I lay my keys and things like that. But it's not malignant forgetting. Like you would just lay your keys down in an odd place and not remember where you laid them. Malignant forgetting would be putting your keys in the freezer. Okay, so let's talk about what remains. Stage 1, everything remains. You don't have any losses, and so all of your cognition, all of your emotions, all of your emotional resonance, all of that still remains. People in stage 2 even, it's really more of a look back. When you get down in stage 3 and 4, you want to look back and say, when did those kind of benign forgetfulness things start to happen? So you want to look at the stages in that way. There's a lot that remains. Even if you carry a diagnosis, we will talk about tomorrow about stage 3. If you carry a diagnosis of dementia, you can still do a lot. Especially in 2 and 3. You can still work. People still work in 2 and 3. Let's go ahead and talk about 3. 3 is mild cognitive decline, and that, I want to read it to you. This stage includes increased forgetfulness, slight difficulty concentrating, decreased work performance. People may get lost more often or have difficulty finding the right words. At this stage, a person's loved one will begin to notice a cognitive decline, and the average duration is 7 years before the onset of stage 4. So stage 3, people are still working in 3. They're still planning trips. They're still planning Thanksgiving meals and executing those meals. They're still able to sequence and plan and carry out things. All of that remains. They're able to still balance their checkbook in 2 and 3. They're still able to participate in their social events. If they do, any kind of community work, anything like that, they're still able to participate in all of that, even if they carry a diagnosis of dementia. Because they might go to the doctor, they might be noticing some things, and the doctor may be able to diagnose them with, usually at this point, it would be MCI, mild cognitive impairment. They wouldn't even carry a diagnosis of dementia yet in 3. This is the time, if you get a diagnosis of MCI, that you need to go ahead and do all the legal kind of things, get all your affairs in order, assign a power of attorney, do your will, do your living will about how you want the end of your life to play out. If you want everything, or you want to allow natural death, or you want to be a DNR, all of those kind of things need to happen in 3 while you're still able to make those needs known and those wishes known, and those decisions very, very clear to your family. You'll notice that you may repeat the same story over and over, but it's just benign. It's nothing that anybody needs to worry about. This is when I would absolutely print off the Gather tool from my website, dementiawithgrace.com, and it'll be linked down below. Fill that out. Go ahead and fill that out so that people know what your wishes are. Not just your wishes, but your background. Everything that you would maybe like to talk about, and write it all down and say, if I get to where I can't remember, help me remember these things about my past. Help me talk about these things that I enjoy talking about, and let people know. If you feel like, if you're a caregiver watching this and you feel like your person maybe get in mild cognitive impairment, then go ahead and ask those questions. Get everything out on the table. I believe in shaking hands with the truth, and I believe in facing things head on and not sticking your head in the sand and saying, listen, this could get worse and this could get bad. And so I need to understand what you want us to do if the time comes where you can't tell us any longer, what you want done in this situation or that situation. It can be scary, but to me, being able to plan and execute your own wishes while you are still able to make those wishes known is just paramount. So a lot remains in 1, 2, and 3. 1, you're absolutely, completely, quote, normal cognition. 2 is similar. You might have some things where you just, maybe some people says, you've already told me that. But it's nothing, it's nothing major. It's just, you told me that already. You've told me that 3 times now or something, where it's like, oh, okay, I forgot I told you. And it could not progress any further than that, but it could progress into dementia. Stage 3 is just forgetting things, not being able to concentrate as well, not being able to follow the plot of a movie or a plot of a book, that you may just have to go back and really think about, now, who is this character, what is she, who is she, how is she connected, that kind of thing. But still, it's nothing that is so troublesome that it's worrisome. It's just there. So still, have fun, make plans, travel, do all of those kind of things that you can do in these stages before it gets worse. Tomorrow we will talk about 4. 4 is, it starts to get difficult. 4 is as bad as people will get while they still realize how bad they are. And so we'll talk about 4 tomorrow, but there's a lot of things that remain in 4. And then we'll talk about 5 and 6 and 7, okay? All right. I will talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Bye.